There are many expressions that cannot be translated directly from English into Spanish or directly from Spanish into English. There's just a different way in each language to express the same idea. So sometimes instead of learning a specific word, we have to learn a set phrase that means the same basic idea. Many of these expressions in Spanish use the verb tener, and we're going to talk about several of those, quite a few of those in fact. But first, let's quickly review tener. Now, if you're not familiar with tener, this review isn't going to be good enough for you. You'll need to go and find the tener video and look at it. However, just for a quick review for those who have seen the tener video already, here we have the forms of tener in the present tense. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. There is a fairly long list of expressions that use the verb tener. Again, in English we would typically use a different verb, not to have, but in the case of most of these we would use the verb to be. So for instance, if we looked at the first expression here on the list, tener frío, to be cold, in English we would say I am cold. In Spanish we're going to use the verb tener, so we would say tengo frío. I'm not going to go through each of the expressions on this list, however it would be a very good idea for you to pause the video and copy these down. Okay, hopefully you've copied those down. I've rearranged things here a little bit so that we can have a little bit of space to work with while we practice using a few of these expressions just to give you the idea. I already mentioned that we could say, or that in English we would say I am cold, but that in Spanish we would have to say I have cold. That wouldn't be the same as saying I have a cold in English. So we use the verb tener, to have. I have frío, which is cold. Likewise, if we were going to say I am hot, we use the verb to be in English. The I form is am, I am hot. In Spanish, we would say yo tengo calor, which is like saying I have hot. That's the way it goes with any of these. The subject doesn't have to be I, of course. It could be they are right. If we look at our list here, we can find the expression for to be right or to be correct. Here it is, tener razón. The they form is ellos. So ellos tienen. They is ellos. The they form for tener is tienen. Ellos tienen razón. That's all there is to it. You do need to memorize these expressions. You will find yourself sometimes trying to say things like I am in a hurry, and you will be tempted to use the verb ser or the verb estar, both of which mean to be, but that's not correct. You need to be sure to use these tener expressions when it is appropriate to do so.